Hi, and welcome to This Week on 33rd Street. I'm Mike Wisniewski, sports editor of the Daily Pennsylvanian. I'm joined today by associate sports editor Mike Toney, who was at Penn's 24-20 win over Columbia on Saturday. Mike, Penn came out very slow against Columbia. They've done it a few times this year. Lafayette, Villanova, William & Mary. You might expect it against those teams, but Columbia's really been kind of like a doormat of the Ivy League the last few years. So why do you think they can't get going at the beginning of the game?
Well, I don't want to throw a lot of coach speak at you to start out, but each game really does have its own identity. You look at Columbia, you look at that defensive line, you got All-Ivy Josh Martin starting there. They came in ranked 7th in FCS in sacks per game, 3rd in the Ivy League in sacks. This was an underrated defense going in, and there's really not a lot of shame for Penn's offense to come out a little slow, a little bit stagnant against this Lions defense. This week in practice, you had a lot of red jerseys, no contacts in practice. Al Bagnoli talked about that after the game, an unusually high number of injuries. So coming out, this team was a little banged up. Ryan Mitchell had a jammed shoulder. So you had a banged up Quaker offense against a Lions defense that was maybe underrated by a lot of people. Now, it is a trend, but I would say that going into the rest of the Ivy's schedule, I think you're going to see them pick it up because quite frankly, starting with Yale, the defensive lines are going to get a little bit lower in quality as we move forward.
Right, and mentioning Yale this weekend, maybe Penn will be able to come in healthier now that they've gotten away from their tough non-conference schedule. How do you see them coming out in that game? Do you think they'll be able to come out strong like they did against Dartmouth? And overall, what do you think of their chances against Yale?
Oh, like I said, Yale's defense not on the same caliber as Columbia's. Penn's offense picking up steam at this point. You saw Billy get a lot more comfort with throwing to Ryan Mitchell, Mitch King. He's spreading the wealth a little more than he did earlier in the year. He hasn't thrown a pick since the season opener. Offense has a little bit more momentum right now. If you want to be concerned, you look at the other side of the football. You look at a defensive squad that almost let the Ivy League's worst offense go the length of the field in 50 seconds to take a game from them at Franklin Field. That is scary. You don't want to see that going in. They can do that against Columbia, and they can do that against Yale or anybody, let alone when you go to the end of the schedule when you got Harvard and Cornell waiting there for you. That's the big concern going into Yale. That's what I want to see how that plays out.
But still, Penn's 2-0 in the Ivy League. How do you think they're going to shape up this weekend? What's your prediction for the game?
I'm going to go with Penn 31, Yale 13. I don't think Yale has too much to offer Penn going in.
So we'll finally have a nice, easy win. We'll be able to relax a little bit in the fourth quarter.
This will be the breather we've all been waiting for. Absolutely.
All right. Mike Toney says Penn will have a nice, easy win Saturday at Yale. We'll be live blogging from New Haven at noon on buzz.thedp.com.